How are you? Hope all of you are fine and safe at your home. Students, today we will start our chapter number 4 from our supplementary reader work, Footprints Without Feet, and the lesson number 4 is A Question of Trust by Victor Canning. Students, the overview of chapter is the story is about the Horace Danby, a good honest citizen. Horace robbed a safe every year to finance his hobby of reading books. The story describes his last attempt wherein he was caught by the police. Horace's last attempt failed due to a pretty young lady who claims to be owner of the house. She tricks him into opening the safe and handing her the jewels. Horace was later arrested for the jewel robbery. Here there are two characters, Horace Danby and the unknown woman. Now, the summary of that chapter is, here Horace Danby had a good reputation in society. He was a good and an honest 50 years old citizen. He was unmarried and lived with a housekeeper who took care of his health. He suffered from attacks of hay fever in summer. Now Horace Danby was a successful lockmaker and had 2 helpers. However, he was not a completely honest man. Horace was an unusual thief because of his hobby. He loved collecting rare and expensive books, so he robbed a safe every year and secretly bought the books through an agent. However, 15 years ago, he was sent to prison for a robbery for the first time. Horace had planned a robbery at Shootover Grange. He was sure that, just like his earlier robberies, this one would also be successful. He has carefully studied the rooms, electric wiring, the path and the garden of Shootover Grange for 2 weeks. He knew that the family had gone to London and that the servants living there were going for a movie. As the servants left the house, Horace came out from behind the garden wall carrying a bag full of the required tools. Horace had seen that the housekeeper hung the key to the kitchen door. Horace wore his gloves, took the key and entered the house. He saw a small dog laying in the kitchen, but Horace silenced the dog by calling its real name Sherry. Now Horace knew that the safe was in the drawing room behind a poor painting. He had read a detailed description of the house in a magazine article, which made his job easy. He also knew that the safe he targeted was connected to a poorly built burglar alarm. So after arranging his tools, he went to cut its wire. Now a bowl of flowers was kept on the table. Horace was allergic to flowers as it caused hay fever. Because of the flower, he felt a tickle in his nose and started sneezing. He then covered his face with a handkerchief in order to avoid the smell of the flower. Suddenly, Horace heard a soft voice asking him about the reason for sneezing. Not realizing that someone had caught him, he answered hay fever. The female voice suggested him to get a cure for his disease and find out which particular plant caused him allergy. The lady said that she came back in time but had not expected to meet a burglar in her house. Horace told that the lady, firstly, he thought to run away. But when the lady threatened Horace to call the police, he told that he would cut the telephone wire and leave her helpless. Now Horace suggested the lady to forget the incident and asked her to let him go. After realizing that Horace did not want to go the prison because of his fear, the lady put forward a condition for Horace's freedom. She told him that she had promised her husband to take the jewels to the bank, but she forgot and kept the jewels in her safe. She wanted to wear them at a party but had forgotten the combination of numbers to open the safe. So she needs the combination of number to open the safe. Horace agreed to this condition. Within an hour, Horace opened the safe, gave the jewels to the lady and went away. 2 days after the incident, Horace planned to rob again to satisfy his hobby. However, he couldn't do so. By noon, a policeman had arrested him for a robbery at Shootover Grange. He was told that his fingerprints were found all over the safe as he had opened the safe without his gloves. Horace told the police that the lady of the house had told him to open the safe. But the real owner of the house was an old lady of 60 years with grey hair and sharp tongue. She claimed that Horace's story was nonsense. Horace realized that the pretty young woman was also a jewel thief who had used her skill to steal the jewels. Horace is now an assistant librarian in prison. He often thinks about the clever lady who tickled him. He often thinks about the clever lady who tickled him and broke the honor among thieves. So students, here this is the story about a question of trust. So you have to read it and try to understand it once again.